Since you're one of the only people I could talk sports with on this podcast, I do got to talk sports a little bit because I don't get too many guests that, not that they don't know a lot about sports, but they don't really like to talk sports. And I know you're big in sports. So, what was your opinion on the Super Bowl 2 weeks ago?
Well, I thought it was very interesting. There were exciting moments. I think all of us were wanting a better game, um, but it's always a great time to gather around family. We had a huge party and just being with one another and sharing a few experiences. But what really stuck out at me was the battle between Tom Brady and Patrick Mahomes, the battle between seasoned leadership and that X factor persona of being a seasoned champion versus this uber talented emerging champion who established himself with a Super Bowl win, and also both teams and how teams were built. Um, I think this was very, very fascinating to me how Tampa Bay built a championship team through some key free agents. If you don't know what a free agent is, it's someone that basically is hired from another team or hired from another company after the contract expires. Whereas some dynasties, like the Steelers and some championship teams, are built from the ground up. They're built from a draft. If you're in business, it's hiring people young and training them, and they are get promoted in the company, and they help the company succeed. So for me, the dynamic, which was so fascinating, was kind of a paradigm shift of how things have changed in the game of football, where one dynasty was built from growing at the grassroots level through the draft. And now we had a dynasty like the Patriots, where Tom Brady led the way, was grown not so much from the ground up, but sideways from free agency and hiring, other players from other teams. So neither one is right or wrong. It's really about success. So I saw this phenomenon, Tom Brady, and I thought about this in our lives, in our organizations, in our teams, to not be so married to one concept that you're not open to another. And I see this all the time with churches that grow leaders from within, and it's all wonderful. But when you grow things from within, you're growing them within your own bubble. So their input, their output will serve and be limited to that bubble. And there's something to be said with bringing somebody in outside the bubble with a fresh approach, with a different way of looking at things that causes a disruption in the status quo. And I think, once again, I'm energized by paradigm shifts. And Tom Brady brought that to Tampa Bay. Gronkowski brought that to Tampa Bay. Leonard Fournette brought that to Tampa Bay. And, the result was fascinating. And that beat a team that was more talented than them.
I love that analogy. I like how you brought that full circle with not growing from within, with being able to step outside you're basically your own comfort zone